Good afternoon, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here, and today, guys, we're here with another retro cover rewind, and we're going to do a 5-part series. We're going to feature the original Spider-Woman Jessica Drew series from 1978, but of course that starts in 1977 with one specific book, which we'll get to in a minute. But as you know, the focus of the series is remembering these great artists that we had from back in the day and their work on iconic series, or series that influenced me specifically, things that I just love, art that I just love. Some artists that went on to super fame, some that were kind of appreciated, but didn't hit that level they should have, and were always solid contributors, and just fun old covers from back in the day. Because let's face it, when we were young, when we were kids, when we were impressionable, a lot of the things that drew us into these comics were the covers. So this series is about cover appreciation, and the work that these artists put into these covers that caught our eye on the spinner racks and drew us in and made us go home and beg our parents for a copy of that book. But without further ado, let's get into it. So Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, a favorite character of mine ever since I was a kid. I've got some figures of her. I got mini comics. I've got 7-Eleven promo comic that she did with Spider-Man, Captain America. She did, like she signed a contract. But you know what I mean. The character was in this book with them. And really all over the place in the 70s, as Marvel had created this character to hold on to the name Spider-Woman before DC Comics came up with a similar character, a gender switch of Spider-Man to use in their books. A common practice between both companies back in the day, just to help protect their IPs. But with that, they created one of my all-time favorite characters in Jessica Drew. So without further ado, we're going to start with a Gil Kane cover, and this was her first appearance ever. This is Marvel Spotlight on the Spider-Woman. This is issue number 32, and like I said, a great Gil Kane cover there. And we'll read you what's in the blue up here, give you another look at this sweet cover. So this says, Archie Goodwin story, Sal Buscema and Jim Mooney art with a Gil Kane cover. It says, origin and first appearance of Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, and a Nick Fury appearance. Now, her backstory, very muddled back then. She had a lot to get through. She had been mind swiped, controlled. Just a really interesting start to her career. And starting out kind of like not wanting to be villain and not sure who she was and what her identity was supposed to be. So a lot of brainwashing in her history. But there we go. Marvel Spotlight 32. So just a great book. And I remember getting this, and I have previous videos where I tell the story about getting this book. And this book is something that'll always be special for the circumstances I got it. But you can seek out those videos. Next up, we have Spider-Woman #1 from 1978, and this is, of course, a Joe Sinnott cover. Now, I have 2 6.5s of this slab, and one that was also a gift from Zach's Collections that he won on another channel, Adam Durr's channel, Collecting with Durrs, and was fortunate enough and kind enough to get that book from him. So I got 2 6.5s of this, and the thing with this is I have trouble getting higher than a 6.5. I do have a couple other copies to send in, which you're going to see. I'm hoping for at least an 8.5 in one of these at some point here. But this book's getting more expensive in the raw, so probably not going to keep picking them up. But so here we go. This is Jessica Drew Spider-Woman. I have 3 other #1s raw, and one of these I think is at least an 8.0 or better. So this is, again, the Joe Sinnott cover. And this cover has just been used so much throughout the years in the reprints. And we're going to show you that. So we had, of course, the facsimile, which came out a few years ago. All right. The Marvel Essentials line, which reprinted all these classic stories in black and white and went in volumes. In volume 1 of the Essential Spider-Woman, they of course used it on there. with the Marvel Spotlight 32 cover on the back. So both of those got reprinted and reused. So really nice. These are hard to get a hold of. And beautiful black and white art on the inside. So not only do you get to read the stories in color in the originals, you get them in black and white, and it kind of gives you a different feel. Now, moving along, you had the pocket novel, which this got used again on. So, and this is great. I just love it. And just a great format, something else that you can use and have a different experience with your story and characters with. And then, of course, we had the Toy Biz variant, which came with a Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman figure. But love this. I might send this in just because it's nice. I like it. And great reprint cover. But then we get to issue number 2. And issue number 2 has just another great action-filled cover. Second startling issues. And with the character that's attacking her on the cover, we got her, Merlin. The character says, "You think your powers are deadly? Feel the awesome might of Excalibur." And cover art by Dave Cockrum. Just one of those fantastic artists back in the day that just always did a solid job on everything he worked on. And Dave Cockrum's work is legendary and just expansive. But a fantastic cover there. All right, and then we're going to go to issue number, well, we got a couple of the 2s there. And then we go to issue number 3, and this is just a fantastic cover too. His name is Brother Grimm, and he will be the death of Spider-Woman. All right, and again, another Dave Cockrum cover. And how could you be a little kid back in the 70s and not be drawn to these covers? Look how fantastic that is. Very dreadful looking cover for Spider-Woman. Definitely looks like she's in peril, and you just wanted to see how she was going to get out of it. And true to her namesake, just always in some sort of danger on the cover, much like Spider-Man. And then we have issue number 4. You defeated Brother Grimm, but now take on the power of the Hangman. Dave Cockrum, Bob Wiacek on the inks. So great cover again. And of course, our hero in peril on the cover. And you just have to open these pages and see how it's going to turn out for them. How are they going to outwit, outsmart, and defeat these bad guys? Again, an awesome work by Dave Cockrum. And these Bronze Age covers, they just have so much going on with them. And always just a great pleasure just to view them, look at them. And you get a whole story before you even open the pages. Again, Dave Cockrum cover, Bob Wiacek inks. Next up, issue number 5 of Spider-Woman. You have nothing to fear but your darkest nightmares. A shocker like you've never seen before. Again, just drawing you in. And we have Dave Cockrum. And one of my all-time favorite inkers in history and artists as well, Ernie Chan, doing the inks on this cover. And Dave Cockrum just killing it again. A great perspective cover. This time you have Spider-Woman being the aggressor, and just kind of a hint that there might be something wrong with her. And how are you going to know unless you read the book, right? So great stuff. And this is a series. It's a 50-issue series that I've read a couple times over. Love it. Of course, it was up and down. They had different creators on and off the series. But it didn't, even some of the arcs that were just okay, did never dampen my love for this character. All right, so we had another number 5. And we have issue number 6. And this is a pretty famous cover too. The Spider-Woman is helpless before the mindless rampage of Werewolf by Night. And here we have a cover by Carmine Infantino with inks by Steve Leialoha. And just a fantastic cover there. Again, our hero in really great peril here. It looks like she might not be making it out of this issue. And what I really appreciated about this first series is there was a lot of horror-tinged stories to it. A lot of horror-type villains, which I just thought was fantastic. And the story was quite a bit darker than its Spider-Man counterpart book, which was more lighthearted, more neighborhood, superhero-friendly type of thing, right? And this was just dark in a lot of ways. And it dealt with darker storylines, gene manipulation, all sorts of weird stuff that just drew you in. As someone who liked horror and superheroes, it was a great combination. So again, Carmine Infantino and Steve Leialoha. So a couple of those. And then next, issue number 7. And again, a great dramatic cover. It says, "Stop. If you press that button, you'll doom us." And a character talking off page to Spider-Woman. "It's too late, Spider-Woman. If I'm defeated, I'm taking you with me." And Crisis on the bottom. So great cover. Carmine Infantino and Steve Leialoha again. So a couple of those. And just look at the drama on this cover. Bursting through a door, a finger pointing to a doomsday button, supposedly, and just all sorts of promise of peril on the inside to draw in our young minds. So, just really fantastic work. Oh, and I had a third copy of that. And next, you get a bondage cover. And sometimes these go for a little bit more money just because they are in bondage. But you have Spider-Woman being carried to her doom by the man who couldn't die. What a tagline, right? So, Carmine Infantino, Steve Leialoha again. And just another fantastic cover. I love the way that, that Carmine Infantino does Jessica Drew's hair on this. And look at all the drama. Look at all the action. Again, just drawing you in, making you want to buy this issue and just take it home and see what's going on the inside. So much action, so much excitement. And the Jessica Drew character was had a lot of complexity to her that really drew you in as a reader, especially since you had these incredible pencils that kept you optically engaged as well. So there we go. So number 9, and this is another great cover with a really cool, really dark villain called the Needle. Beware the Eye of the Needle. And you see him with this giant needle. Carmine Infantino on art and Bob Wiacek on the inks. And just another great perspective cover, looking from just slightly above Jessica Drew down at an angle to the villain, who's about to shove a giant needle through this guy's face. So, again, a darker series, but with something called the Needle. Sparking your childish imagination back in the 70s. How are you not going to want to pick this up and see what happens and how Spider-Woman stops this dreadful villain? So, great cover. And to round up this episode, we're going with Spider-Woman number 10, the first 10 issues. It says, "Where Flies the Gypsy Moth?" And this is the first appearance of the Gypsy Moth. And again, with a Carmine Infantino cover, Bob McLeod on the inks. And just a great cover there. Spider-Woman's on the scene, not sure where the peril's at, but she's about to be descended upon by this vicious villain, and she's going to have a fight for her life on her hands. Again, just fantastic covers from the Bronze Age, completely drawing you in as a young kid and making you want to read these stories. And just a whole lot of fun. Just when you're a kid and you're seeing these covers at your local gas station or at your drugstore or at your supermarket, and they're on that spinner rack, they had to catch your eye. They had to make you want to take them home. And each one of these covers, for me, was just dynamic. I had to have it. I had to read it. And there was always a big draw for me to the female superheroes. Just loved them, between her, Carol Danvers, just incredible stuff. Black Widow, all these cool characters that were just fighting and badass. And like I said, with the Spider-Woman series, you had that hint of darkness. There was some sorcery in it. There was monsters in it. There were just really creepy, really bad villains in it that were a step above what some of the other heroes were fighting in their mags. Some more comical villains, some more goofy ones. And Spider-Woman just always had like villains with a monstrous side to them. And that darkness really drew me in as a kid. And it still keeps me engaged today. It makes me go back and read these books. But that's it for today, guys. Let me know what you think of those 10 covers to start with. And look forward to seeing you in part 2. And until next time, thank you for watching and keep it casual.